there, friends of the internet. Welcome back to Coffee Over Apples. My name is Steph. This is yet another book haul. I think I've really gone overboard a little bit this year with book hauls. But I've done some traveling this year, and you know, when you visit book friends and when you've got a lot of author events that you've been prioritizing going to, because a lot of my favorite authors are kind of coming around town, and just I really want to get my book signed, and then I can't go there and not get other books that then get signed and other things that look really good. So I have a lot of books to talk about. So I think I'm going to focus first on the books that I got signed at the author events that I've been to recently. And I don't even know where I'm going to throw that footage in from those. I don't know if I'll make like a mini vlog out of all of the random footage that I have, but it's not even like cohesive footage. It's just like, here's me at a random time going into the city to do this. But I guess we'll start with this one. I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. This was a really fun event because it wasn't just Stephen Graham Jones. It was also Grady Hendrix in conversation with them for the promotion of this new book. And it was at the Strand, which was super cool. This one, again, I like to go into my books blind, so I'm going to try to give you a summary of what this book is kind of about. It's from the POV of the slasher, I guess, telling us like what culminated in them deciding to become a slasher and like what happened in this small town in Texas. I think it takes place in the 80s. Yes, 1989. Love the chicken scratch. It's a little hard to read. It says, Stephanie, hard to keep your head attached in Texas. So that's really fun. I also got some other Stephen Graham Jones books signed. I got Mapping the Interior signed, and I got The Only Good Indian signed. So that is up there. Also for Grady Hendrix, I got the Final Girl Support Group signed. I also got Horror Store signed. And oh my gosh, can I tell you how sweet Grady Hendrix was? So the point is that I got these two signed for my partner because he is a bigger fan of Grady Hendrix than I am, and he couldn't make it with me to the event. So when I got to the front of the line, I was talking to Grady and I was like, hey, listen, my fiance is a fan of yours, you know, he couldn't be here. Is there any way that I can put him on the phone? And he was like, absolutely. So gave him a phone call and said some nice things. It was really sweet, and I was just like, he's such a sweet person, so thank you so much for that. Wonderful experience, highly recommend it. So I also got this. I haven't read it yet, but I'm hoping that it's pretty good. And this one says, people get murdered by pitchforks constantly, stay safe. I went to a book signing and talk for St. Gibson, and this is going to be one of the biggest regrets of my life. Let me tell you, unless I go back for some reason and there's another St. Gibson tour, I regret forgetting to bring a Dowry of Blood. I forgot to bring a Dowry of Blood to get signed the day of, because I ended up going like after work to the city. But this was a book tour for Evocation, and I was able to get this signed, thankfully, at least. You know, only because I like bought it there. But so this was the Evocation event. It was really talking about like magical stuff. This is a fantasy series. This is the first one in this new series. I think they said it's going to be a trilogy. I could be wrong. It's following a main character who works in like a magical bureaucracy kind of thing. And there's a polycule in here. And I don't know, everyone's talking about how much they love the main character, at least, so I'm like, that sounds motivating to me, but I didn't get to read it before I went to the tour. So I am looking forward to this. If anybody's read this and you love it, let me know. I'm also going to drop this in here because I don't remember if I mentioned that I hauled an Education in Malice. So I'm just going to drop this in here. So I have two St. Gibson books to read, but I've only read and really loved A Dowry of Blood, so like I don't know how these are going to fare. I've heard mixed reviews about An Education in Malice, some saying that it's like good but not as good as A Dowry of Blood, so we'll see. And then this is kind of taking a different turn from that like dark vampire revenge story that I love so much, so we'll see where this goes. But I have two St. Gibsons to read. Also, I forgot this one at home and I didn't get it signed, and I'm really upset about it. What were you thinking, Steph? Okay, so next book signing that I went to was for Katee Robert. Katee Robert, whose book I read recently in the Dark Olympus series, which is a romance. Katee Roberts writes monster romance and adult romance, erotica. This series is pretty long for erotica. Like, these books are pretty long for how erotic they were. But I read book 1, Neon Gods, recently. And I'm really more interested in this. This is book 7 in the series, so the book tour was for book 7, Dark Restraint. I don't know if I'm going to read books 2 to 6, honestly, because I feel like I'm a little bit tired of the Greek mythology retellings. Also, when it comes to Hades and Persephone, which was the Neon Gods one, like, Allure Olympus was kind of, I think, where I'm just going to end with that. I did like it, and I'll probably do an independent review about it because it was very adult and very spicy, but, like, it was too long. So this is book 7. I think I might just keep this as a keepsake if I don't intend to read books 2 to 6, or maybe I'll just slowly read them over time so I have an excuse to read this, but really, I'm interested in this little goddess right here. Can we just look at the cover for a second? It's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. I think this one is between Ariadne and the Minotaur. I think. And then I know that they mentioned that I think it's a 10-book series. They've already written books, I think 8 and 9. But they're not coming out for like another year or 2. So if anybody has read this series and they think that this could stand alone, let me know. But from the vibe I got from Neon Gods, it might not be able to stand alone because there's this whole like civil war between the gods that might be happening at some point. We'll see. I don't know. This one is signed, but I didn't get to meet the author to talk. I just saw it and that it was signed at the bookstore and I needed to pick it up. It's Chuck Tingle. I've never actually read a Chuck Tingle before, but I have been obsessed with hearing other people talk in depth about Chuck Tingle and like giving synopsis and summaries and their opinions. Like, I've listened to so many of them. I don't know why I haven't picked one up yet when I'm like that interested in what other people have to say about them and their reviews of them. But if you're not aware, Chuck Tingle, who is popular for really out-of-pocket adult erotic fiction, has now made their way into writing adult horror. So this is Bury Your Gaze. I'm obsessed with this person. I don't know if it's a healthy amount of obsession. I'm just gonna read to you what this one is about so you get a little bit more of an idea. Mostly because like this is the one where I just grabbed it. I didn't really read the summary, so let's figure it out together. Misha knows that chasing success in Hollywood can be hell, but finally, after years of trying to make it, his big moment is here, an Oscar nomination, and the executives at the studio for his long-running streaming series know just the thing to kick his career to the next level. Kill off the gay characters for the algorithm in the upcoming season finale. He refuses, but soon realizes that he's just put a target on his back, and what's worse, monsters from his horror movie days are stalking him and his friends through the hills above Los Angeles. Haunted by his past, Misha must risk his entire future before the silver screen horrors find a way to bury him for good. So it's a horror that's playing off of the old trope from movies and things where it's like the gay character is one of the ones that gets killed off first, just like other marginalized characters is usually the case, unfortunately. So it's like taking that and running with it. Okay, next. This one I've actually already read at the time of this and was obsessed with it and love it, and I gotta get book 2. This is Cosmic Kiss by Clio Evans. I'm obsessed with Clio Evans at this point. I love them and I want to read so many things that they have written. But this is a polycule erotic romance and it is so good. I'm actually going to make an independent review for this. How do I explain this without getting too in-depth and giving things away? The length is perfect. I absolutely adore the characters. I highly recommend this. If you're looking for a sci-fi erotica, it's cool. It's got the sci-fi in it is like it sucks you in, and that is a pun. And it's a burlesque in space. The main character is one of our burlesque stars, and I think book 2, Cosmic Crush, is also following a burlesque star. But there's actually 3 characters on this cover. Character 1, Character 2, and Character 3 with the tentacles, so you get the vibe. Then we have a book that, when I was just leaving the bookstore, caught my eye, and I was like, I am a magical girl stan, okay? So, A Magical Girl Retires by Park Seolyeon. This sounds really good. From what I understand from the synopsis, it's like, I guess it's like a love letter to magical girl anime and manga, but it's the main character's just a normal girl who gets sucked into potentially being a magical girl, but it's not exactly the way that she thought it would be. Like, magical powers, not really. The other characters have magical powers, but she's just a depressed chick with a debit card, and like, what could she do to save the world? So just, it sounds relatable. And that sounds really good. Like, I love slice of life stuff that just kind of take these genres and spin them on their head a little bit. Also, the art is adorable, and it's short, and I need more short books. This one I have a history with, because I should have read this a long time ago, because it was a pick for my sci-fi book club like 2 years ago at this point, maybe a little bit more, and I had taken a hiatus and I never got around to reading it, so I need to fix that. But this is The Last Quintista. Sci-fi, Latina author, family, generational family, like folklore, that kind of thing. But it is highly recommended. It's won some awards, and I've been saying I'm going to read this for a while, and then when we saw it at the book thrift shop, I was like, this is a sign that I need to pick it up. Then we have 2 books that were recommended and given to me by my bestie, Natalie. One is from our mystery book shopping video, book hunt video. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. But this is a nonfiction about horror. This is With Bloom Upon Them and also With Blood by Justin Phillip Reed. I'm pretty sure this is like about a nonfiction history and criticism about the horror genre. I think this is particularly focusing on film. It could deep dive into horror literature, but I'm realizing that I am a nonfiction girly. I have given every nonfiction that I've read in 2024 5 stars. Have I read a lot of them? No, I've only read 3. But when you've at this point only read 30 books, 10% of your reads being 5 stars, and also all of that 10% being nonfiction being 5 stars, it says a lot about my taste. So there's a high chance that I'm going to like this. Also, The President and the Frog. All I know about this is that I trust Natalie with all of my being. And if she says it's good, there's a chance that I'm really going to like this. And it's supposed to be beautifully written, beautiful prose. Give you a little bit of the summary on the back. At this modest home on the edge of town, the former president of an unnamed Latin American country receives a journalist in his famed garden to discuss the president's legacy and the dire circumstances that threaten democracy around the globe. Once known as the poorest president in the world, his reputation is the stuff of a myth. A former guerrilla who was jailed for inciting revolution before becoming the face of justice and human rights for his nation. Now, as he talks to the journalist, he wonders if he should reveal the strange secret of his imprisonment. While held in solitary confinement, he survived in part by discussing revolution, the quest for dignity, and what it means to love a country with the only creature who ever spoke back, a loud-mouthed frog. It sounds like I'm going to cry. Then we have 2 books that are really random because I got them at Free Little Library. And I don't know. They just called for me. It might be the colors on the cover. I don't even know if I'm ever going to read these, so we'll find out together eventually if I unhaul them or keep them. This one is All This Could Be Different. And then this one, I don't even know, because I think it's a thriller, and I don't buy or read thrillers anymore very often. I have some questions for you by Rebecca Makkai, I think. Why did I pick this up? I think it was the colors. I just really like the colors on the cover, and then I think I remembered some booktubers talking about this, and I was like, I like those booktubers, maybe I'll give it a shot. But maybe I should have just left this to give it another home. If you've read any of these and you think I'm gonna like certain ones, please drop it in the comments so that I can prioritize reading them. If you want to follow me, I have my social media linked down below along with my Patreon, where you can become a member to support my channel and also get access to voting for what kind of content I'm going to post in relations to certain book reviews. I post videos whenever I feel like it. Thanks for watching. Bye.
What's it making, Mr. Wonka? Mr. Wonka worked the factory.
In your wildest dreams, you could not imagine